All right, welcome into Gridiron Icon this week. As usual, joined by my partner in crime, Mr. Preston Denard. How are you, man?
Hey, back in the saddle again.
Here we are. And I'll tell you what, the cheers just keep coming
They keep coming.
because the city of Los Angeles woke up ecstatic this morning, absolutely ecstatic with the World Series and what was an incredible ending. I mean, that was cinema. That was cinema last night. You were texting me, and I was out and had to run and get to witness the big moment.
Yeah.
What did you think of last night's game as a
Oh my
diehard?
gosh, the
Ugh,
first time I saw that ball hit, I thought immediately about Kirk Gibson and his exploits and hitting that last one and doing the old going
all
around
the way
second.
around.
Man, the whole thing just relived itself, and what a great job that they did. I mean, this is a perfect series, and everybody's getting ready to know now. I every time I get asked who's your favorite teams in whatever sport, and I don't have any. I just love watching athletics and all that. I really don't. But
Interesting.
when it comes to baseball, Dodgers, West Coast, Yankees, East Coast. Those are my two teams. They happen to be in the World Series. I
Are you,
am thrilled.
you've got to be.
Uh,
Are you absolutely conflicted right now?
no,
Are
no,
you okay?
I'm sitting on the mountaintop enjoying the view. Let me tell you, and I can't be wrong, can I?
No, I mean, listen. You're one of the. This is clear. You're a unique sports fan, and
Oh
and
yeah.
also an ex-professional athlete. So most of us get very I mean, no one can tell what I love, right?
Oh, I don't think so. There's no
So
visuals around
yeah, I
here.
mean, I'm very emotionally engaged in that, but I
Uh,
would love to have the ability to watch a just two titans go at it and not be too swayed one way or the other. But you got to be loving this then. The Yankees Dodgers classic.
I'm definitely loving it. As a matter of fact, I think I forgot my beverages and all of that. As soon as we're done, I got to run and get them, and just so I can sit and enjoy. But oh my gosh, I mean, I'm unique because the way sports and athletics played in my life. Yeah, there are some teams that are designated that are part of my upbringing and history and initially getting started in sports and playing football. Uh, you can name them the Rams, the Cowboys, always good games between the two. I end up playing for one, having great games with the other. Baseball, always love the Dodgers. And I love the Padres. I love the West Coast teams, but certainly the Yankees on the East Coast. If you're going to cheer for anybody outside of the Dodgers, wouldn't it be the Yankees? I mean, it
Hey,
wouldn't be Houston. If they won a couple of World Series. Wait, one, two, three. They won a few.
I
But
won a
I
few.
mean, I'm just not that guy to go, oh, that's my team. And I live and
Wow,
breathe with them because I'm up here with athletics. And it doesn't matter what I watch. If I
good for
had a
you.
team, I'd be up here today, down here tomorrow, somewhere in the middle. I'm not ticking like that. But man, what a great World Series! And you know what? The tone for this thing is set because
Yep.
either one of those teams can win it, Stacy, and they all are big play players. We're going to see this game in the next, let's call it the next six, because I truly believe
Prediction.
it's going to, well, if one doesn't come to play, then it'll be a short-lived series. But I just
Yeah.
think there's too much talent out there. Giancarlo, oh my gosh. I
Wow.
mean, you got Judge. I mean, and all
Oh,
the ballers. And you know what? Out of both teams, honestly, my favorite player is Mookie Betts. I love Otani,
really? Yeah,
but
Otani. I
Mookie
mean,
is
okay.
just a ball. He's a baller's baller. If you think about it, he's a guy I can look at Otani and go, man, what a special talent.
Ugh.
There's nobody else that looks like him in the game, right? I mean, you think he should be a volleyball player, a basketball player, you think he should be in some other sport, but he's a hell of a baseball player. But Mookie is definitely a tremendous baseball player, and that's the sport for him, and he plays it with the kind of tenacity and energy that former athletes would certainly enjoy. So there you go, my friend. You
Good for
found out my
you,
favorite
man.
guy. Yeah,
I
yeah.
got to tell you, I mean, I'm conflicted in this conversation. One, I admire it. I wish I was that way. For example, Thursday night's game with the Rams and the Vikings, I was incredibly passionate about and on pins and needles because I really felt like this was the season. If they lose, it's going to be a wholesale dumpster fire. But they pulled it out. But I mean, when you're telling me I like the Dodgers and I like the Yankees, isn't that kind of like I'm an ex-Ram, but I also like the 49ers? I don't know, man.
Hold on.
I'm trying to tap into your emotions here. Like
I did not see anything. No signage, no nothing. There's not even that color scheme in this room. Now, one thing's for sure, I've got other color schemes, but they're because of my other sons, all my sons, I guess. And I can tell you this. There ain't nothing. Well, I take that back. There is an autographed Jerry Rice and
we'll
Steve
give you that.
Young ball. Okay.
We'll give you that. I mean, come on.
But no, that statement is incorrect because it does not equate to Rams 49ers. Are you kidding? If I go football now, I got to go with the Rams. But I'm that guy. If you're not playing, and then I'm going to watch somebody who's playing some ball.
Right.
I mean, I'll always watch the sport.
I just want Rams fans to be very clear about this one, like especially because you also played with the Packers and the Bills. So
I did too. I'm not, I'm always messing with my son PJ, and I'm telling him, the Packers are okay. And that's when Aaron Rodgers was there. But they need to get rid of Aaron Rodgers. Now Aaron's in New York, and I'm telling him, he should have retired 2 years ago.
should have retired a Packer. Yeah.
So I'm not too partial to anything other than, my journey. When you talk about my journey, yes, love the Rams, love being a part of that journey, love being a part of a team that took the skinny kid in and he turned out to be pretty good on the football field and had great relationships. Love Southern California, go back all the time, enjoy it. But I love sports. And my favorite sport now, if I had to get particular, my favorite sport, right?
Well, we talked a little bit. I know your love for baseball, but I'm guessing volleyball
you're guessing
is
right.
kind of your thing now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if I had a team, now I'm telling you this. If I had a team and I had to claim one, I'm claiming Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Pamphorettes, I don't know what they call them, but I'm claiming the University of Pittsburgh's volleyball team because they are ballers.
You gave us a bit of a preview last week.
That's the whole sports deal. Yeah, I want to see ballers. I want to see how they go after it. I want to see them compete. And I enjoyed some of that today because I got a chance to see a little bit of Indiana. And love stories like that in football.
Yeah, it's a good thing. And listen, straight talk, that's a much more balanced way to take in sports, not making it too important in our life, but we know it's important because we do this podcast. But I'm still trying to acquire that balance with my Rams. I have acquired it with my Lakers, I might add. I'm not openly, this is going to be very unpopular for some, not a big LeBron James fan. So the Lakers, and I was a huge Kobe fan. So that's been a little bit of an emotional struggle. Okay, very nice. Well, what a week. So we've got your official prediction on the record now that you're thinking Dodgers in 6. At least that's the way I took it. Dodgers in 6.
I did say there were 6 more games to be played.
I was putting words in your mouth.
We could go to the very last one. I mean, that's the potential in this series. So, somebody's going to go out maybe 2-0. It could be 1-1. It could go back and forth. This series is unpredictable, but I can tell you we're going to all be entertained. There's great hitting. There's home runs. There's fielding. Oh, my gosh, Edmund. I mean, there's some great players that are out there on the field. And to be honest, there's a couple of guys I didn't think would be the player that they are today, but the Dodgers got some young, great infielders. I mean, just outstanding. Just outstanding play.
It's very special in sports, no matter what side of the fence you're on or which team, to see the best play the best. We saw a little bit of this a few weeks ago with the Ducks and the Ohio State Buckeyes. What a football game. And I think what you're poking at is that same thing here with the World Series. We're going to see the two titans of professional baseball go at it. So good stuff. Okay, well I'm pulling for my Dodger blue. And God, that was the stuff of movies last night. I mean, that was the stuff of movies, man.
Oh yeah. Good stuff.
It's been a big week.
Yep.
for LA fans with the Rams winning. But much more importantly, we lost a legend
Yep.
this week.
Yep.
Speaking of the Dodgers, in Fernando Valenzuela. And full
Fernando.
disclosure to anybody listening, I don't even know, but he was essentially, in terms of timeline in professional sports, a peer of yours
Oh,
when you played with the Rams.
ooh,
It was right in that era.
ooh,
Did you
yeah.
know Fernando? This is absolute off the cuff.
I've
Did
had
you
the
know
blessing.
him? You
Yeah,
have.
I've had the blessing of have
Wow.
known him, met him, been in his presence 2 or 3 times,
Wow.
I believe. But just great. What a fun, loving guy, first of all. And when you look at him, you would not, if you saw him on the street, you wouldn't think he's the Fernando we knew on the mound. And oh my gosh, what a ball player. What a pitcher. I've always enjoyed him. And he just reminds me of the old school guys, the Louis Tiants, that flavor of ball player. And I tell you what, it just can't get out of my head. And what a nice peaceful remembrance of his domination in the game. He was really wonderful. And I'm just very thankful I had the opportunity to not only know him for a short time, but to also have been able to experience his games up front, to be able to say that part of his inspiration was mine, and then to be in Southern California at the same time. Just outstanding. Loved it.
Right.
Loved it.
Absolutely amazing. So can you speak to that? I mean, I was taking in Fernando fever as well, but from a distance, not like you.
Mm-hmm.
What did that guy do to the city of Los Angeles during that time period?
You know, he came at a time where LA needed that hero, that unsung hero, that person you would look at and not think they would be able to represent that. But when he grabbed that white ball with those red threads and he put that glove on his hand and he put that Dodger blue on and he went out there and pitched, that wasn't the guy you saw on the street driving up in the parking lot. That wasn't the guy you saw at the grocery store. That wasn't the guy that's a totally different person when he walked into the ballpark. And I tell you what, he represented something in all athletes that if you gave us a chance to just show our skills, you have the capability of showing up big. And he showed up big, big time. Now, I also will say this. Over the years, Major League Baseball has had tremendous players that have come from other continents, other countries, other communities outside the United States, and they've always been a fixture, the Clementes and so on. But when Fernando came, and being the ball player that he was, but coming in as that unsung hero, looking at him and going, man, that's a pitcher, huh? And then to see him just rear back and throw that ball. It was just so much fun. So we were all caught up in the Fernando mania. We were all excited about it. And we were so close, it was like an intangible. We could reach out and touch him, so to speak. But that influence carried over into that entire Southern California, and they had something that was so unique and so special. And here's the real caveat. Nobody had a Fernando Valenzuela like the Dodgers during that time.
Yeah.
There were no other pitcher that was like him. And he was like a culture kind of a person where, boom, here he comes, and he had this huge following. So people identified with him. And he was such a special athlete and a great, great person, first of all, because he would communicate with you. And we used to tease and joke with our good buddy Frank Carell. We used to tell him, you ain't the first one, brother. You ain't the first one. Somebody else got that star.
Awesome.
And it was Fernando.
That is awesome. Folks, go see our past visit with Frank Corral. That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like my memory of this, and it's limited. I was a kid, but just how he kind of united. You know, there was like you to your point. There's a lot of diversity in baseball. Some of the best baseball players in the world come from the Latin American countries, and then in recent years we've seen a lot of the Asian baseball players that have really rose to prominence, whether it's Ichiro or some of the pitchers on the Dodgers now, and some of these folks that were really, baseball has done an excellent job, maybe better. Well, basketball's done a good job too, of bringing together folks from different walks of life, some of these athletes. And I feel like Fernando, at least in my lifetime, was kind of the trendsetter in that regard. That was the first time I ever considered, look at this. It's not Steve Garvey, it's not Ron Say,
Yeah.
it's Fernando Valenzuela. Look at this guy. And he literally looked like a guy that you would just have over for a barbecue in the backyard and crack a beer, and just so unassuming.
There you go.
In my mind, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I always
you're
thought
right.
of him as just a quiet guy who's just an assassin. I mean, that run he made was absolutely incredible. And then post career, just everybody to a person says what an incredibly good guy he was. And I feel like we lost a legend
Oh, we
this
did. We did
week.
lose a legend. We certainly did. We lost a great ball player. We lost a great person. And I'm just trusting in faith that he's in heaven, waiting on us to get there, because we'd love to sit down and have another conversation with him, just shooting the bull, just having a great time. But
That's
great
awesome.
talent, great legend. Glad to have
Yeah,
been a part of it.
he's kicking back with Tommy Lasorda right now.
Oh, isn't that something? But those two characters together, let me tell you.
Sandy Koufax strolls over. You could go on and on, but
Malcolm, all of them, yeah.
yeah, nothing but praise to the Valenzuela family and the Dodger family for the amazing memories and a good person. So
That is so
really,
cool.
really special. I didn't want to ask you prior to us turning on the mics, but that you actually got to meet him. So that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
Very
Good time.
cool. It's
Good
a
time.
special era in Los Angeles sports, man.
Well, you know what? And then I'll add this too. To have been an athlete in Southern California, we're all bound to cross paths because of being in Southern California, Orange County, LA County, and all the media scenarios there, outlets and television and movies and you name it,
Yeah.
music. I mean, everything's there. It's the entertainment capital of the world, just about. And everybody that is anybody that came through there, they usually came across each other. And so, if I were to sit and talk about all the different folks that I've met over the years, oh my gosh, that'd be an entire show, and it was wonderful, whether it was a casual visit or one time, or you seen them multiple times, or you went and complimented each other and watched each other's sports or games when we played. You're always going to be able to run across people. And so that's a joy, that's a privilege that we all have. Folks in Denver can't do that. Kansas City, they can't do that.
Yeah.
And
It's
Buffalo,
different.
they really can't do that. It's just a different climate, different community. But in Southern California, we are very spoiled and certainly took advantage of those opportunities and had the ability to really spread our successes among others in other sports as well.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Special. I realize I'm biased because that's part of
Yeah.
my young childhood and whatnot, but really special group of athletes that I
Yeah.
continue to call my favorites. So
Yeah. Yeah.
big time praise and lots of love to the Valenzuela family. Thank you for all those great memories and sharing him with the rest of us. Good
Yes.
stuff.
Indeed. Indeed.
Well, as we wrap up this visit, let's talk about the Hall of Fame
Oh,
and
man.
the old timers.
Yes.
Let's talk about what's going on there. We touched on your visits to the New Mexico Hall of Fame, the Pro Football Hall of Fame, in some of your friendships and your honors with
Yeah.
Lionel and others. Where are you on what's going on with the old timers and the Pro Football Hall of Fame? It's going to become a conversation in the near future,
Yeah.
but I think we need to get out of it because as time ticks and we lose a legend,
We do.
we've got some legends to talk about that haven't been
Well,
honored.
you know who I start out with, and that's
I
Rosie
know.
Greer. Every
Yep.
every time when I get an opportunity to open my mouth, I'm going to tell everybody Rosie Greer. If he's not in the Hall of Fame, this game is not the game it's supposed to be to each and every one of us because he is an icon. He is someone that has a historical pinpoint in our community, society, our country's developments, and athletics. You can't combine those measures in anywhere else. And so certainly he is one. But there are 60 individuals, process in voting and nominating is upon us because the Hall of Fame is now gearing up for new selections. So 60 individuals have advanced to the next stage in the voting process, and these are in the senior category for the 2025 session, as well as your normal retiree inductees too. So the screening committee had a new entry, and they had like 50 individuals from a list of 182 nominees, and 77 defensive players, 5 special teamers, and all of them tied for the 50th position remained under consideration. But here we go. So we're talking about players who remain eligible for 2025 are quarterbacks. You ready?
Oh, boy.
And I know you got some opinion about this. See if you thought of all these.
Okay.
Ken Anderson,
Yeah.
Charlie Connerly, Roman Gabriel.
Yes.
And there's a big push for Roman to get in.
Yeah.
Jack Kemp, Jeff Kemp's dad,
Right.
and Jim Plunkett. Those are the quarterbacks. Okay?
Yeah.
Nice little list, huh?
Very
Not
nice
bad.
List.
Anybody
Very
you
nice
think
list.
of should be in that list?
Boy, I would like to see James Harris get more conversation. But I tell you, I do think Plunkett should be in. And I do think who were Kemp, excellent ball player for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
do think Plunkett on that list should be under consideration for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He won Super Bowls. He climbed.
Yeah, you're right. Out of that list, that's who I would say. I would put Roman in there anyway. Just 'cause
Roman. Sorry.
his name is so unique anyway.
Yeah.
I love Roman Gabriel. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Speaking
All right, how
again
about-
of the epic renaissance of LA sports in the 70s,
Yeah.
Roman Gabriel, James Harris. I mean, come on. Okay. Yeah.
Roman.
Yeah.
All right, running backs. Ready? Alan Amici.
Okay.
These are all good ones. Otis Anderson, Larry Brown, Roger Craig, Chuck Foreman, Cecil Isbell, Paul Tank Younger. Now, I would probably go in that order. Paul Tank Younger would be my number one suggestion out of that group.
Interesting.
Larry Brown, Chuck Foreman, they're all good. Roger Craig, you got to have Roger in there. Otis Anderson, he didn't win a Super Bowl. Out of all those guys, Roger Craig, and then Chuck Foreman. I mean, there's 2 or 3 in that group that I think, but there's 7 of them that are in that particular
Interesting.
area. Now, not sure if all would be in there. Wide receivers, you're going to love this one. Here's some good ones here.
I must say real quick,
Yeah.
and I can't believe I'm going to stick up for a 49er.
Uh-oh.
Roger Craig should be in the Pro
Roger
Football Hall of Fame. He changed the running back position in the 80s. Guys like Marshall Falk, even Kyron Williams the other night for the Rams, catching that ball out of the backfield, that was not a thing in the past before Roger Craig and Bill Walsh revolutionized that. Anyway, wide receivers, go for it, my friend.
All right, Mark Clayton.
Yeah.
My good friend, Isaac Curtis.
Yeah.
Boyd Dowler. I can't believe he's not in.
I'm surprised.
Yeah. Here's one. Not sure how he's not going to get in, but everybody's screaming about him. Henry Ellard.
It's insane. It's insane.
But
Henry
you're gonna
Ellard, that's insane.
But you're going to love the next one. Right behind Henry's name is, and both of these guys have been our guests. Harold Jackson.
Yeah.
HJ's on there. Billy White Shoes Johnson. Stanley Morgan.
Yeah.
Art Powell. Sterling Sharp. And Otis Taylor. Yeah, decent names, huh?
Torrey Holt's not on that list. I guess he's not part of that older
Well, remember,
list.
These qualify as a combination of seniors as well as, but Torrey's not on this one.
Yeah.
But he's already on a list that's a standing carryover from last year.
Gotcha. That's what I thought. Okay.
That's how they do that, okay?
Yeah.
So, and that was wide receivers and tight ends. So, offensive lineman, Ed Budd, Ox Emerson. Now, that's a name I don't know. I'm going to have to search him out. Bill Fralick, Notre Dame guy. Chris Hinton, you remember him?
Yes,
Colts.
very good player. Yep.
Joe Jacoby, I remember him, played against him. Mike Ken played against him. I think he was Falcons.
Yep, Falcons.
Bob Kuchenberg.
Very good ball player, Dolphins.
George Kuntz.
Yep.
Ralph Neely from those dreaded Cowboys.
Don't remember Ralph. Okay.
Jim Trier and Al Wistert. And,
they're-
Dick Shafrath. That's a name I don't know, but I love how it's spelled. Shafrath. Boy, he had to be a monster back in the day. Huh?
He was a
All right.
beast.
So that's the offensive lineman. There's 12 of those guys. There's only 6 defensive linemen. You ready?
Wow.
Okay. And out of this list, one of them was our former guest, L.C. Greenwood,
Ew.
Ed Too Tall Jones,
Oh,
Jim Marshall, another Viking.
wait a minute. I'm in shock. Too Tall and Marshall aren't in the hall? Okay, I'm in
This
shock.
is-
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Oh, you know what? I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
If it was all said and done, it should just be a ring of honor, and everybody should just
Yeah,
be in
that's-
that puppy because there's all these guys that are left out that
That's
should be.
wild.
And you see, I'm saying defensive lineman, L.C. Greenwood, Ed Too Tall Jones, Jim Marshall, Harvey Martin,
Whoa.
Lee O'Neill, and Bill Stanfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, good names. I'm glad Leslie's on
You
there.
could arguably put all of those guys in.
You could.
Like that's
You could.
that's kind of wild.
Yeah.
And I hate the passage of time because people don't understand how L.C. Greenwood played on the steel curtain. They don't understand Ed Too Tall Jones was a freak.
Doomsday. Yeah.
Was
Oh,
a
yeah.
freak in the 70s at his size. That's wild. Okay, keep going.
I wonder if they remember him being a professional boxer.
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
All right, linebackers, Carl Banks,
Oh.
Maxie Bond, Bill Berge, Joe Fortunato, Larry Grantham, Leroy Jordan. I would have thought he'd have been in a long time ago. Clay Matthews Jr.,
No.
Tommy Nobis. These are all Hall of Fame names. Andy
Oh,
Russell, Pat Swilling, automatically.
Pat Swilling was a beast.
Phil Villapiano.
Yep.
I mean, that's
Raiders.
amazing. All right, 2 other areas. Defensive backs. Dick Anderson, Deron Cherry,
Wow.
Pat Fisher, Lester Hayes,
Insane.
Albert Lewis,
Yeah.
Eddie Metter,
Oh,
Lamar Parrish, and Everson Walls. And then here's a single special teamer, automatically should be in, Steve Tasker.
oh yeah. No brainer.
Yeah, so this is just a reduction from the main list of all those being considered coming up. The Pro Football Hall of Fame's class of 2025 will be enshrined next August. And these are overseen by a particular organizing committee. But yeah, these are all the guys, each member of the senior screening committee, this year add additional input overall to all the different areas. So there you go, my friend. All the blue ribbon committee selections, those are the names. And certainly what we can attest to, there's a bunch that have been left off that should be on there.
Oh, absolutely. So I got to say this. Outside of Rosie Greer, we both know how we feel about Rosie. It's insane.
Yeah.
On that whole list of everybody you picked, I said I'm going to pick 2 players that is so ridiculous that they're not in the Hall of Fame. And here's my 2.
Ooh, okay.
Henry Ellard. When he quit this game, when he retired, he was in the top 10 all time in every category. This isn't just my Rams bias. The second one is a guy I've had the pleasure of meeting, and he was a game changer, Lester Hayes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Those 2 not being in the Hall of Fame is preposterous.
Right.
Those are my 2. I
agree.
There's a lot of names on that list, but those 2 change games
Yeah.
all the time, every Sunday.
And you picked a wide receiver and a DB, and
Yep.
One
I
I
know.
played with, the other one I played against, and I can tell you I'm out there. But you think about going against this secondary. Monty Jackson at the right corner. Mike Haynes also at that right
Probably
corner.
best ever.
Of the Raiders.
Probably best ever.
Lester Hayes, left corner.
Yep.
Mike Davis, free safety. George Atkinson. And who's that other guy?
Jack Tatum.
Jack Tatum.
Sorry.
Yes, the assassin. I mean, just imagine that secondary.
Terrifying.
Ooh.
Dude, I don't know how you slept at night. I watched those games, and Atkinson and Tatum were just teeing guys up like, here he comes. Nobody's wanting to do dig routes or anything like that.
No, not at all. Well, let me tell you, My first start in NFL was against those Raiders in the Coliseum, and let me tell you, bam, those are the guys I was looking at. Till
Don't
Monty
blame you.
Jackson came over to play with us.
Yep. I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
my goodness.
fun times, great guys, but yeah, those two, Lester Hayes, just a classic. The man of glue, almost like the man of Troy, the men of Troy. The man of glue. He had glue all over him. That's the only way he was going to catch a ball. But let me tell you, he didn't need glue to stick to you because he could
Yeah.
play that corner from out
Oh,
of
he
Texas
was
A&M.
so good.
Can you imagine this? And I didn't realize this too. Lester Hayes, Texas A&M. Pat Thomas, Texas A&M. Who else from that secondary was there? We should ask Pat about that.
Yeah.
They had some
I'll leave that to
tremendous
you.
defensive players. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And listen, pals, they just did a recent survey on Twitter where they were, I don't know who it was, but they were saying who's the best corner of all time, and they gave us 6 choices. And I would arguably say, although not on that list, and also a big shot in the executive office, Mike Haynes, pound for pound,
Pound for pound.
was perfection.
Yep. He sure
Like
was.
he didn't make the Deion Sanders flashy plays. He didn't. All he did was erase an entire side of the field. It's like you never heard his voice, and you forget. Oh, that's because he just took the whole field away.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
He was incredible.
He's always been that way. Did you know he came out of high school as a wide receiver?
No,
Arizona
I did
State.
not.
He went to
No.
Arizona State as a wide receiver. A lot of people don't know that about Mike Haynes. And when he got there, Frank Cush, a couple of guys went down. Frank Cush told him, "Hey, I'm gonna play you in the secondary this week." That's how he got to be a
what happened.
defensive back. And let me tell you, the first play I ever saw Mike Haynes, I was a freshman. We were preparing to play Arizona State, and I was at New Mexico and coming back home to play them. And I seen this play. We might have talked about it, but somebody's running the ball. There's a huddle. Mike Haynes runs up on the huddle, and the receiver comes behind him and pushes him over top of the huddle. The play is dead, right? But a receiver pushes him across the huddle. Receiver, never seen that before. Just
Wow.
totally unreal. So that's the Mike Haynes that I got introduced to, and running routes against him and thinking, "Ooh, I left him," and I turned. He's standing right there.
He's blowing in your ear. He's like, I'm right
Blowing in
here.
my ear. Well, Mike Haynes, yeah, he was a good one.
Abs-
Good friend today.
Oh, that is so wonderful to hear. He's a class act. That's so cool. We're going to have to do a Preston versus the defensive backs of yesteryear show.
We can do that. I got them
And
all
we need
listed.
to have a chat like that.
We'll do
I
that.
love
We'll
it.
do that.
Well, thank you for bringing that list and the
Yes,
great
sir.
experiences from your time in the 80s, late 70s in Los Angeles. Folks, please join us next week as we jump back into regular programming here on gridironicon.com. Any parting shots there, Preston, for the Dodgers or any worldly wisdom?
Hey, you know what they ought to do tonight is right before the first pitch, let the screen illuminate and have Fernando's face right there. Just blow everybody away. Would that be cool? Just to have
That
it
would be cool.
just glow right through the screen, Fernando. It'll be over. That thing might end in 4 games.
Okay. Oh, the prediction is changing now.
Yeah,
They've
it
already
might
given
end in 4
us
games.
given us a goosebump moment. So let's see what's in
Yeah.
store.
Everybody
Love it, my
enjoy the
friend.
series. It's a great opportunity. My friend, enjoy the game today. God bless you. And Fernando.
Yeah, thanks, my man. You too as well. Thanks for joining us on Gridiron Icon. Check back next week. Watch us on YouTube and all the usual spots. Be safe out there, and we'll see you soon.